Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's stories in the world of professional wrestling. Big update on Roman Reigns' upcoming WWE schedule. Following the June 24 taping of SmackDown, undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is not being advertised on WWE's website for any WWE TV tapings or live events for the months of July or August. As of this recording, the only shows the Tribal Chief is currently being advertised for are the Money in the Bank and SummerSlam premium live events in July. While Money in the Bank will take place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on July 2nd, SummerSlam will emanate from the Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee on July 30th. WWE has announced more than 30 live events as part of their summer 2022 touring schedule. Reigns reportedly signed a new WWE deal recently, which will see him working fewer dates for the company. Prior to WrestleMania Backlash, Reigns sent the wrestling world into a frenzy with his comments at a WWE live event in New Jersey over the weekend. Quote, "I'm starting to work into a new phase in my career, and I honestly don't know if I'll be back here again," Roman Reigns said. "If that's the case, I just want to say thank you for all of these years of support." Edge debuts a new look on WWE Raw. WWE Hall of Famer Edge is now sporting shorter hair. On this week's Raw, the leader of Judgment Day stood in the ring next to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, whom he referred to as his two, quotes, saints of fate. Quote, "We formed Judgment Day because we were tired of being sheep like all of you," Edge said. "Where did that get us? Where did that get me? Okay, it got me a Hall of Fame ring, big deal. I'm bigger than the Hall of Fame. You know what it also got me? You can point to any area of my body and I've had a surgery. Do any of you care?" Edge then called out the, quote, keyboard warriors for making asinine comments on the internet. Thereafter, Priest and Ripley explained why they decided to embrace the WWE Hall of Famer as their mentor and leader. In conclusion, Edge teased that Judgment Day would be adding more members in the future. As noted previously, former NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa has been rumored to join the stable. Quote, "My movement is not done," Edge emphasized. "We aren't finished yet, and we're looking for more," end quote. Backstage news on WWE's Tag Team Unification plans. WWE is still planning on having the match between RK Bro and the Usos, but the company is not going to unify the titles, according to Dave Meltzer on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. While it was made clear that those plans can still change slightly, the current idea is for RK Bro and the Usos to compete in a major match, but WWE does not want to unify the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and that isn't in the works. This would seemingly hint that a match between them would have some sort of DQ finish. Originally, WWE had advertised a title unification match to take place at WWE WrestleMania Backlash, but that ended up being changed into a six-man tag team match. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre were added to the equation to round out both teams. The Bloodline would go on to win that one after the Tribal Chief pinned Riddle. On Monday Night Raw this week, the show opened with RK Bro making it clear they still want the match with the Usos. While they ended up successfully defending their titles against the Street Profits, the focus for them was on SmackDown. The two men made it clear they will be visiting the Blue brand this Friday to confront the Usos. WWE's next premium live event is Hell in a Cell, so the match between the two teams could take place on that show, but it is unknown whether or not both titles will end up being on the line. It could end up being a case of battling for bragging rights instead. Both teams have been dominant with their title reigns respectively. The Usos are the longest reigning SmackDown Tag Team Champions in history, with their current run at 294 days and counting. Meanwhile, RK Bro are 61 days into their second run, holding the titles for a combined 203 days across them both. Rhea Ripley debuts new theme song on WWE Raw. Rhea Ripley has a brand new theme song. One of the biggest surprises coming out of this past weekend's WrestleMania Backlash event was former Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley joining forces with Edge and Damian Priest in the Judgment Day faction. On last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, the Nightmare debuted a new theme song to pair with the new look she showed off at the aforementioned Premium Live event. Ripley wasn't the only member of the Judgment Day to make some changes, as the leader, Edge, had a noticeably shorter haircut during last night's show. During the edition of Raw, Ripley provided an explanation on her decision to join the WWE Hall of Famers' new faction and become one of Edge's new, quote, Saints of Fate alongside Damian Priest, and according to Edge, the Judgment Day may not be done in adding more members to the group. Quote, I am done signing autographs at the airport for all the little kids who come running up to me saying they want to be just like me when they grow up. The next day I go online and I see those same autographs being sold on eBay. I'm done being used, Ripley explained. Ripley would go on to quickly defeat her former tag team partner Liv Morgan later that night and would help dispatch of Finn Balor and AJ Styles following stablemate Damian Priest's match with Balor. Alexa Bliss returns to action on WWE Raw, Sonya Deville no longer an official. Alexa Bliss made her surprise return to WWE Raw on last night's post-WrestleMania Backlash episode. Raw featured a backstage segment where Sonya Deville ranted to Adam Pearce about how she's tired of this formal investigation into her conduct as a WWE official because they all know she gets the job done. Pearce went on to tell Deville about her opponent for Raw and to explain the findings of the investigation, but she stormed off to the ring and said it's always business, never personal. Deville then waited in the ring after a commercial break as Pearce came to the stage. He revealed that the investigation into Deville had concluded and that upper management found she did recklessly abuse her power. Pearce then announced that Deville's contract as a WWE official has been terminated, adding that she is still under a WWE superstar contract. Pearce then brought out Deville's opponent, the returning Bliss. Bliss came out carrying her Lily doll and was all smiles as she posed on the apron. She placed Lily onto the top turnbuckle and quickly defeated Deville in a squash match. Bliss made her exit to cheers from the WWE Universe while Deville threw a tantrum at ringside. Bliss has been off of WWE television since the Women's Elimination Chamber match on February 19. She returned for that match following a series of vignettes that came after she'd been sidelined for months. Tony Khan addresses AEW fan reaction to Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti. AEW President Tony Khan was a recent guest on the Swerve City podcast where he talked about Ty Conti. Khan believes Conti is the AEW wrestler who has made the most progress from the pandemic era to today. He also addressed the recent heat she has gotten on AEW television since being paired with her real-life boyfriend Sammy Guevara. It was just last summer that Sammy took to one knee to propose to his then fiancée, and Khan concedes he misread how fans would react to the two as an on-screen act. Quote, Ty Conti, she came in and she's great, he said. In NXT, she seemed like she had a ton of potential, so I thought since she's come into AEW, she's had great matches. Obviously, her presentation has changed and changed. Now it's continued to evolve with Sammy, and they've really found something special on and off screen. Honestly, it's great, and I am really happy for them. I was really happy for them, so maybe I misread how happy the fans would be for them. So I think I have course corrected that. You don't try and fit a square peg into a round hole. I like Sammy, I like Ty. The fans like Sammy, the fans like Ty. I like Sammy and Tay together. The fans do not, and that's where we differentiate. So that's what I have come to accept, end quote. So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.